G'day guys, it's Matt from Mad Dad Bricks, all the way down here in Australia, and I've got the Zero FS to show you. The Cyberpunk inspired hyperstreet car, fusion powered, quantum computer in the back with complete cybernetic integration for the driver to feel and know exactly what is going on with the car. So that cable there from the computer will connect into the back of the seat that you'll see later on. We start by building up the firewall and then the front air intake. The air can flow freely through the air intakes, around the engine, around the front wheels, and out through air channels down the side of the car that you'll see later. We're adding the heat exchangers on here, which dissipate the heat from the fusion engine, and they glow bright green at night. You'll see that in another image that I might throw up at the end of the video. These little modules here provide that pinstriping down the car, start the blue pinstriping, and they start with normal headlight technique and transition through into a sideways build. I wanted that nice smooth line across the top, and they integrate just perfectly and connect in nice and solidly with the firewall. It's got a full complement of pedals. I'm going for maximum detail in this car. This is the first car that I've designed, but I'm very much into sci-fi, and cyberpunk is one of those genres that's just insane and hasn't been explored that much in Lego, although there have been a few examples in the past. We built up the steering column here and the blow-off valves, which will rotate down and cover up the fusion engine. You can always open those up later and have a sneak peek in to see what's going on. We build up the front headlights as two modules that connect together here, and all those winglets channel the air around the front wheels. I've done my best to keep everything as tight around the wheels as possible, and yeah, so you can see that nice and snug around the wheels there, and you can see all of that space inside for air to flow. So we're completing off the top of the bonnet, and that adds the pink headlights at the front and completes the firewall at the back. So then we build up these miniature city-like builds. So you actually build them upwards, and you can see all that channeling through there. You can see right through it. That's for the air to pass through, and they connect directly onto the firewall and start to build up the cockpit, as well as allow for space for the roof to fit down into later on. So you'll see that, and adding those extra modules there completes the cockpit and the dash. Of course, we need some sort of energy drink. There's a drink holder and an energy drink there for you as you're scooting around the rainy cities looking for ramen to eat or bad guys to fight with your cyber sword that you'll see later. We've got a radio, ultimate retro fusion future thing. Add a just a normal phone onto an old radio, and there you go. These bits are one of my favorite parts of the car. Fully adjustable mirrors, and the way these connect on, it's just so satisfying. I wanted to keep an aero cutout above the front wheels, and this allows that. You just attach them from one stud at the front, rotate them in position, and lock them in with a tile, and that gives you that cutout above the wheels and all the shaping that flows around to the side and connects onto those side panels. We're adding there's a bit of color detail and additional wings on the side. Finish that off, and then these pieces, you actually build them up with this angle and studs on the side pieces, and they push in and lock down and compress the car front to back to keep all the firewall and everything nicely in position, and that'll get locked in later. So we can see here the seat, it's got the little logo that I've taken from the Starry Night one, Tales of the Space Age, and this whole seat has full integration with the driver So you can take that cable and plug it into the seat there. So you actually plug it in and connect it on, and those green things will project information into the driver's brain and into their visual cortex so that they can have some information about what's going on in the car. These are the armrests for the car. You've got a cyber pink cup with a piece of pizza that you've picked up from somewhere, and a gear stick as well. There are lots of pieces in this car that are sort of one-offs in other sets, like that bit of pizza only came in the Jazz Club, and there's another Japanese head guy that you'll see later on as well. There's a few things like that. We're adding these little sort of power NOS bottles at the back. Add those in, and then we're adding our thrust vectoring exhaust nozzles. These I was particularly happy with because they actually allow the underneath to be built upside down while locking in those nozzles to allow thrust vectoring to happen. And yep, we can't put those on yet. We need to lock in those compression pieces, and we'll add these diffusers at the back. So the rear diffusers with our brake lights. Now the thing is really starting to look mean. Yeah, I love the way this has come out. It doesn't look too blocky from underneath. You can look at it from quite a low angle and still see like lots of aero. And yeah, so those studs on the side of that piece put in there for compression actually line up perfectly there and allow everything to be solidly put together and the rear fenders to be laid over the top. They have grills on the front for air cooling to the brakes at the rear. These brackets, I think, have only come in a couple of sets, one of which is the Hogwarts Express, the UCS sort of version, and they give our nice rear light. Now I'm adding these medium azure plates on, and the reason is when you combine them with the dark pink, it gives a beautiful purple shade. So they're in behind the pink lights. These modules, for a bit of detail at the back, just fit into that space there and are locked in with sloping tiles at the back. So yeah, I love building up those sort of things to just fit in nicely and hold on. So there's that Japanese guy from the Great Wave set that only came in that set. That bit of blue continues the blue through the car. And we have our cyber sword that comes with this set using a piece from, well, this is used in Monkey Kid, May's sword. I've got a few pieces from Monkey Kid sets because I love those and they really inspire a lot of my sort of thinking and the way I try to design things and build stuff. So we've got those tiles in, locking those in. We're going to continue this blue striping. It continues on the floor of the car as well, up into the back and then there. So you've got a pinstripe all the way through, whether you've got the roof on or the roof off. So then we just continue to put those rear lights on. Right, there we go. So we're layering tiles here to cover up the back and give that nice shape. And then we've got these side wing modules, and there are 4 connection points there which connect onto the 4 studs of that bracket. So that just sits there and adds a bit of detail around the fender and gives a bit more shaping. Also adds a 3rd diffuser on each side. We've got space for a number plate, so it's just a 1x3 tile. You could make your own number plate to go on that if you want. I've got one that comes with the set. It's a sticker. And here we're adding the split wing, which is actually built upside down with nice sort of, space inspired elements to it as well. So I just thought that curvature through there works really nicely. And here we have the doors. So the angle here looks gorgeous. I love having combined angles together, and that just attaches onto those 3 studs there, onto that side panel module that we built up earlier. And this angle here in this compression section matches perfectly with the door. And there's a little bit of turquoise quarter round tile there as well that adds to this side wing. So it's all connected up nicely. And the air can flow down the side of the doors through to the rear. Right, so I wanted to have turbofan wheels and I tried a few different things, but I settled on this. I had what I thought was an ingenious idea to turn the train wheels backwards and use the reverse detail, which I don't think I've seen anywhere else. And that just adds those turbofan wheel covers just nicely and adds some nice reflection. Here's the steering yoke that's built up with a bit of extension so the driver can reach that nicely. And our music device, there's actually a full playlist for this car on Spotify, so just go on Spotify, look up the 0FS soundtrack and you'll find about 2 hours worth of music to accompany while you're building and get you in the mood. The front spoiler just connects on with those angled bar pieces and clips with a front number plate. And then we continue building up the roof. We've got this section built there. There's glow in the dark pieces underneath, a full heads-up display integrated into the roof, and it's just built with these side panels. There will be stickers that go on the inside of the side of the roof canopy with lots of cyberpunk sort of detail. And this is the air intake. It's all sideways built, connects with one stud on that jumper plate, but then because the whole thing is set down into the roof, it can't move sideways. It's nice and solid even with just one connection. And we've got 2 studs here at the front, and the sides fall down into the channels built on the inside of the car. Just got to make sure that everything's connected properly, and then it just falls straight down in there and gets that beautiful angle. And those angled wedges and slopes just finish off the back nicely and just like integrate into the rear windscreen. So there you go. So we've got lots of glow in the dark pieces, glow in the dark cockpit interior, heat exchangers and underbody glow. And we finish off the build with a startup sequence. I'd already done the side exhausts, but then you can see this thrust vectoring exhaust here. It's pretty solid. You can put it wherever you want. And of course it has green flames coming about the back. So those flames are from Monkey Kid, and I thought they worked really well here, but they're attached with a clip. So I needed to use that clear bar stud connection. And yeah, mate, in Australia, we love skids and burnouts and tire smoke. So that just demonstrates that. And then you can lift up the doors. As you lift the doors, it raises the cockpit, and that can rest on the front so that you can display it like that and be able to see the interior. And to change to a roadster, you simply remove the roof and replace the front windscreen with that little one from the rear. And there you have it, the 0FS Cyberpunk Hypercar Roadster with the roof if you want it. And here you go. Here's this guy. If you want to find him on Bricklink, his part number is Tech007. So it's TECH007. It's just a happy accident that the seat is just the right size for him. He can reach everything perfectly, and the roof just goes on nicely. But he has to fully recline the seat and put his head to the side, but the roof can fit on. So there you go. We had a couple of other questions from people. As it might have said, it's 14 studs wide. Yes, there was a happy accident with the Technic minifigure, and inspiration for this car, obviously cyberpunk, sci-fi, everything. I'm not going to name any names, but you can see so much in this. I have smashed as much as possible into this car, hopefully in a tasteful way. And there you go. So 0FS, I hope you love it and that you actually get to buy one of these. Incredible. Thank you so much for your time and for sticking around. Awesome. Catch you in the next one.